Have you ever wondered, what would happen if the very foundation of faith began to crumble? What if the Ummah, once united, fell into silence, confusion, and disbelief? This is the story of how Islam began to collapse in the 21st century. A story that will shake your heart, wake your soul, and demand your attention. Because this is the truth they don't want you to hear. The glory that was. There was a time when Islam wasn't just a religion, it was a force. A global civilization. A light in the darkness of ignorance. Muslim scientists, scholars, leaders, and warriors changed the course of human history. From Andalusia to Baghdad, from Timbuktu to Istanbul, Islam led the world in knowledge, ethics, and spirituality. The Quran wasn't just recited, it was lived. The Prophet Muhammad wasn't just honored, his sunnah shaped the culture. Masjids were full. Hearts were alive. The call to prayer echoed with purpose. But somewhere along the way, something changed. The beginning of the fall. The 21st century began with tragedy. Wars in the Middle East. Invasions disguised as freedom missions. Entire countries destroyed: Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Libya. Millions of Muslims displaced, killed, orphaned. But the collapse wasn't just external. It was spiritual. Muslims around the world began losing connection with their faith. Not because of bombs, but because of doubt, confusion, distraction. We stopped teaching our children the Quran. We stopped praying as families. We stopped seeking knowledge. And slowly, we started replacing Islam with culture, trends, and technology. The rise of fitna. The Prophet warned us. There will come a time when holding on to your faith will be like holding on to hot coal. That time is now. Fitna, trials, temptations, and confusion spread like wildfire. Social media became our new religion. Fame replaced sincerity. Entertainment replaced remembrance. Influencers replaced scholars. We began to mock the hijab. We questioned modesty. We doubted the Quran. We debated the very existence of Allah. And instead of stopping the fire, we added fuel to it. Even in Muslim countries, Islamic values became old-fashioned. We copied the West, forgetting who we were. We chased money, fame, and comfort, losing our deen in the process. The silent uprooting. Here's the most painful truth. Islam didn't collapse because of non-Muslims. It collapsed because Muslims abandoned Islam. When masjids became empty. When scholars were silenced. When Islamic schools were shut down. When Muslim youth couldn't answer, "Why do you believe in Allah?" That's when the collapse truly began. We normalized sin. We turned away from repentance. We forgot the day of judgment. We stopped crying during du'a. We lived like this world was forever. And yet, we kept calling ourselves Muslims. The intellectual crisis. A new disease entered our minds. Doubt dressed as logic. Atheism disguised as progress. Liberalism camouflaged as freedom. In universities and online spaces, Islam was ridiculed. And instead of defending it, many young Muslims joined in. They said, "Why does Islam say this? Why can't I do that? Why is this haram?" They didn't want answers. They wanted validation for their desires. Knowledge was no longer about seeking truth. It became about justifying ego. And the more we detached from scholars and tradition, the more we got lost in confusion. The heartbreaking statistics: 10:30 to 12 o'clock. Here's what you won't hear on the news. A silent exodus is happening. Muslims leaving Islam. Secretly. Quietly. In large numbers. In the West, many youth no longer identify with the religion of their parents. In the East, materialism is eating away at spirituality. Prayer is no longer a priority. Fasting is just a tradition. Zakat is forgotten. And the Quran is recited at funerals, but ignored in life. We are witnessing a collapse, not in numbers, but in faith. Who is to blame? Who is responsible? Is it the West? The media? The governments? No. It's us. Every time we skip prayer. Every time we ignore our children's questions. Every time we chase dunya instead of akhirah, we contribute to the collapse. Islam is not a building. It's not a country. It's not a slogan. Islam is action. Islam is commitment. Islam is you. And if you collapse, so does the deen. A glimmer of hope. But here's the part that will shake your heart the most. Islam can rise again. And it will rise again. Because Allah promised. Indeed, it is we who sent down the Quran, and indeed, we will be its guardian. Surah Al-Hijr 15:9. The deen of Allah can never truly collapse. But we can. And we can also rebuild. All it takes is one soul returning to Allah. One heart making sincere dua. One youth standing up and saying, I will not abandon my faith. You can be that person. Final message. So ask yourself, where do you stand? Are you part of the collapse, or part of the revival? This is not just a video. It's a wake-up call. For you, for me, for all of us. Don't let Islam collapse in your life. Reconnect with the Quran. Pray like it's your last prayer. Learn your deen. Teach your children. Love the Prophet. And never, ever be ashamed to say, I am Muslim. Because the collapse may have begun, but the rise can start with